What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another edition. If I'm not mistaken, I believe we are on the 17th episode of Deep Third. Hey man, listen,
What?
these 17 episodes, or the I would say past 16 episodes, has been amazing, man. I'm blessed to be on with two of my good friends, man, and just being able to talk sports. So we appreciate all those who tune in live and all those who catch it, as I say, on the flip side. Um, we appreciate all of your input. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button, that bell. We want to know that you're here, if you're live with us. So even just tap in the chat, man. What's up? We definitely will be interactive inside of the chat. So if you got something to say, go ahead and throw it in there. If it's not something that we can just simply type back, we will gladly answer it in our
Hi,
special
it's your
session,
phone speak.
um, which Fave will be talking to us about in a few minutes. But we got a nice show for y'all tonight, man. Something something that I think separates us from other people. We talk about unique things, different things. I think tonight's going to be another one. So I am Jarrell, aka Sir Fresh, aka Breeze. We got my man Dante DP, or should I say Mr. L, because his team is just taking L's. Might as well be the Cowboys right now. And then we got my man Fade, Patriots Fade, Big Fade, Sneaky Barrel. All I know,
Don't forget,
Pat's
host
got
of the Self-Educated Entrepreneur podcast. Don't leave me out,
yes.
man. Don't leave me out
Hey,
now. If you
I
gonna
was
call them
I was
all, call
going
everything.
I was gonna let you shine on your grind when you get there, boy. Um, but I'll go ahead and throw it to Dante. Let him welcome you guys, and then we'll throw it to Fabe to talk about that special session. Yeah.
First off, don't be disrespectful, man. Just because we lost, who hasn't lost to the Chiefs this year? You feel me? But don't
I
worry
mean, the
about it. We
Raiders beat them.
we
The
still
Raiders.
going to Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
Okay.
Y'all
But
seven
it's
and
DP.
five
You
now.
already know what it is, huh?
Y'all 7-5 now.
Record don't matter.
Barely
As long as we get
hovering.
to the playoffs.
Jameis
Long
could
as
do that.
you see what Jameis is doing at the Saints. He's riding the pine still. So, anyways, yeah, it's DP, the Bucks mascot. Yeah, we going to the Super Bowl. Don't matter. Yeah, we just lost to the part of the best team in the NFL, and it was only by 3 points. So, yeah, we gonna get stuff rectified. Don't worry about it. But on you, sneaky barrel.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Fabe here, host of the Self-Educated Entrepreneur podcast. For those of you, if you guys are also into entrepreneurship and you want to learn some tips, tools, and add value to your life, you guys can check me out on that. That's on any major podcast platform. But beyond that, guys, we're here to talk about sports and have a good time. So you guys sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And also make sure you stay tuned for the last few minutes of the show, as at this time we have a segment called Deep Thought. And in this segment, we take your guys' questions, comments, feedback, whatever, and we give you our deep thought.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, so listen, before we get to the questions, we did have two things I wanted to go over real quick. So uh Jarrell sent us a video, and we'll put this link down in the description for you guys so that you guys can see it. But um, so everybody knows or remembers Nate Robinson, where he was playing for the New York Knicks. You know what, 5'9" dude, dunking on everybody, just just legit nice. Ended up getting out of the NBA, probably forced out. He didn't leave on his own, got forced out. Then he started trying to pursue football. He wanted to be a receiver. It didn't really take off. He didn't get off the ground at all with that. And now he is pursuing MMA. So there was a short clip. He had a 6 round fight, and in the second round, he went to night night. I just want to say, man, I like Nate Robinson. Have always been a fan of him, especially because I'm short. He's short, and he was one of the guys that, you see him, you're like, man, just amazed of his ability, and being able to do what just being able to do the stuff that he was able to do at his height, amongst giants, if you will, and being able to dominate night in and night out. So after watching that clip, I really felt bad, and I was like, man, Nate just need to put his money and just go invest in something. Go start I don't know, doing something, start training, or doing something like that. But yeah, he needs to not get into that. He needs to leave that sport ASAP. Jarrell.
Hey man, all I gotta do is say, Nate, are you okay? Are you okay, Nate? Man, tell me, are you okay? Are you okay? Listen, my man went in there flailing. I'm sitting here watching the rounds, and my man's out there flailing. And listen, I'm not coming at my dude. I like Nate, but I thought that we were in like a little chicken fight. He out there throwing these little wide little bows and got caught with that thing and went to sleep. I mean, my man went Manny Pacquiao straight to sleep, bruh. Um, but it kind of brought up a point in my head of just like thinking guys that I'm not going to say like a Deion Sanders or a Bo Jackson, but guys that when they're done, you go out to try to do something else. Um, is that something smart to do, especially when you're talking about boxing and fighting, and you got these guys who train for a living, and then here you are, um, and I can't think off the top of my head, but the Joker that got caught with the DV, um, he beat up his wife, and then Cowboys picked him up. I cannot think of his name, but I know he's gone into MMA and actually won a couple fights. Um, but I think that's a little bit different. You're talking a football player going into that. And if anybody know, we football players got some anger problems because we like to get it out on the football field. Or unless you're Dante, soft as a marshmallow. You know.
Whoa,
Yes, yes, I
whoa,
went there. But Fabe,
Jay.
Fabe, I throw it to you on any of your comments, man. We don't we don't need Charmin pillow soft over there talking real quick. We'll let you go, Fabe.
All I really gotta say on it is, I don't know. Well, obviously his goal, I'm sure, was to win. But at the end of the day, it's like, you only get a chance to make one impact in this world, and everybody knows him, Nate Robinson, baller, this and that, and it's like the younger generation's gonna know you as this dude that got knocked out. It's like, is that really what you wanna? The internet don't forget nothing, and I ain't looked at no memes, but I'm sure if you go online right now and Google memes, you will probably see some of the funniest stuff out there, and it's like, dang man, that's
It,
that's
it's
unfortunate.
it's bad. It's bad, Fabe. It's the memes is bad, man. I got sent one with the Toy Story characters, um, and they basically had all the Toy Story characters. So um, when what's his name comes in, and all the toys kind of like just lay down dead, and they had him in the midst of it, I
Andy,
was dead.
when Andy comes
Wow.
in,
Yeah, when Andy comes in and all of them go limp. So they had that joker. I was rolling. But Dante, before you go on, I just wanted to say we are now going to be sponsored by Dante, aka Kleenex. It's very soft. Um, you don't have to worry about. well, Dante, I'll let you talk about your new sponsorship with your soft Kleenex cotton now. Go ahead, bro.
Wow, I'm so I don't even have anything to say about that. On to the Nets.
Let's get right in.
Because if anybody know me on the football field, they know one thing about it. I ain't soft. Uh, so the other thing too, before we get to the question, Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. They had their fight yesterday, which I did not get a chance to watch because I did not pay that money. But from just a little bit from like talking to other people, they said that a lot of people was kind of expecting more. They didn't like what they saw, and then I heard other people say that it was really good. And I heard that also a lot of people were saying that Tyson won, and I guess Roy Jones would, Tyson try to hit him with a 1, 2, 3 combination, and by the time he get ready to get that power shot out, he'll grab him and clinch him up. So that's what I heard a lot of. I heard that they were both kind of winded, but a lot of people giving it to Mike Tyson. So definitely, I want to see that fight. So I'm gonna have to look that up or whatever in the next couple of days. But if anybody has anything to say on that, y'all can.
Yeah, man. I I didn't get to watch the entirety. I did get to watch some clips and some parts of it. But I'll tell you what. I mean, in everything that at least I saw, um, it exceeded my expectation. I know it was disappointing because I think we know Mike Tyson, and I can't think of a time that I would have been like, "Hey, a Mike Tyson's fight is gonna go the max distance." It's either he gonna get knocked out or he gonna knock somebody out. So it was different seeing that, and then
Or he's
also,
gonna bite somebody's ear.
yeah, you are correct. Um, but I think they had like celebrity judges or whatnot. So I think some of it was for show, but um, as to say, was it 100% draw? I didn't get to see every round for round, but either way, I think for people who know the Mike Tyson legend, um, I thought from at least what I saw, you saw some flashes of who Mike Tyson used to be. Obviously, I don't know if he can hack it like he used to, but at the end of the day, I think it gave people who like Mike Tyson a chance to see him again. And then I think for the younger generation, both him and Roy, you got a chance to see two of, I would say, the greatest boxers, at least that I've been able to lay eyes on, um, fight. So it was nice for me. Fade.
Um, I didn't get a chance to watch it either, so I really didn't, or I really don't really know much about what transpired in the fight or anything like that. So I think it's interesting though that you guys or you're saying that it pretty much went to a draw. And I know before we got on, Dante had mentioned about people saying that they felt Tyson won. So I would I wish I did look a little bit before we hopped on the show because I'd be interested to see why people felt Tyson won when it was ruled a draw, or it leads to, I guess, with what you said, like it if they took it fully serious, that maybe they nobody wanted to determine a winner outright anyway, and it was just to raise money for charity or whatever. So that's all I got on that.
Yeah, man. Well, um, we can hop in and get on and get hanging on this show. So I think we got some great topics tonight. Um, Dante, if you want to bring us in on the first topic.
Yeah, man. So first question: how would you feel playing an NFL game if you had a quarterback? So just for you guys that don't know, so the Broncos played the Saints today. Um, they had three quarterbacks on their roster. Starting quarterback out, second string quarterback out, third string quarterback out. So they had to put in a running back that played uh, either high school or college quarterback. He basically was a quarterback. So if you were on that team, would you risk getting injured knowing that you probably do not have a chance of beating the Saints because they're one of the best teams in the NFL, of beating the Saints because you have a running back that is playing quarterback? Your thoughts?
Yeah, man. It it's so hard, man. Um, just looking at it and thinking about it. It would be hard for me if I had to play, I'd play. But on the inside, for once in my life, I probably at that level would have some doubts about playing the game. And it's not that I don't love the sport. It's not that. It becomes a business when you get into the NFL. It becomes a business when you get into college. So anything that you do, you got to protect the business. And just thinking about it, the likelihood, and I'm not saying that we can't win, but the likelihood of us being able to win a game with having no roster quarterbacks, somebody who hasn't played quarterback in the NFL, and not just like, some of those little gadget plays and stuff like that, but a full game, um, that's hard, man. Um, that's very hard. So I give kudos to, I think it was Kendall Hinton. Um, I think he went to Wake Forest, if I remember right. Um, but I give credit to him for stepping up and trying to play. He went like 1 for 9 passing, and it was majority runs. But as a player, man, yeah, I just think about whether it's a contract year, whether I'm one of the big name, big money guys on the team. Um, that would make me a little nervous because anything that happens in that game, could affect me further. And what I feel if something happened, knowing that I went into a game, not just a game that I can't win, but a game that we don't even have a guy that knows the quarterback position. Um, I, doesn't know the NFL quarterback position and hasn't seen it. Again, if a backup comes in and he stinks it up, okay, I get it. He doesn't have the reps, da 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 da. But at least you know that he's a capable quarterback. We had a guy that I would say isn't a capable quarterback. So it's a tough one for me because as much as I love the sport, if I'm playing high school football, I'll ride with whoever. Probably if I'm playing college, I'm gonna ride with whoever. But when you're talking about now, my body is my business. That's where I start to question and take a second thought. So that's my thoughts on it. Faber Dante, I throw it to y'all.
For me, real quick, so to your point of it being a business, two main things stick out to me if I'd want to play the game. One, where are we at in the season? I.e., are we on the brink of making the playoffs, out of the playoffs, number one, leading whatever in playoff ranking? And two, is the team, going to find me or whatever if I decide to sit out the game? So like if we're not even playing for playoff positioning at this point, then yeah, to me, why play? Like you said, it's not even the third string. If it was the third string, sure, crazier things have happened with the third string. Going out there, teams don't have film on him, so he might be able to pull some things off that could potentially win the game. But to have somebody who just played running back, I honestly would not even want to entertain that and go out there. Excuse me, especially if we're out of the playoffs. So um, now, if we're so it's kind of twofold. If we were like number one spot and we had a lead, say we're the Chiefs or something like that, I wouldn't want to go out there either. Hey, we're tops. We don't have to worry. If we're out, I wouldn't want to go out there. If we're fighting, it depends on what other teams are kind of going against and where we're at there. But mainly to me is, would the team find me? That would be my question. If I went to leadership or ownership or whatever and said, "Hey, I don't want to play," or like even if you're ailing, you be like, "Look, man, I don't see no point in me playing. We're in a tough position, so save me for next week or whatever." So if they give me that pass, sure. But if they're like, "Oh, there's gonna be some repercussions or something," then I don't know. It would depend on what they say, but I don't think that would be right. I think you should give somebody the option, like, if you want to play, especially if you guys were already thinking of conceding the game.
Man, I like that fade.
Yeah, that was good. Definitely good. For me, all right. So I'm just going to talk about it from the Broncos standpoint. So the Broncos are 4-7 through today. Uh, yeah, they know they don't have no choice. But see, this is what we talked about last week. They knew, or I'm sure they had some kind of idea that they were not going to have a quarterback. You got Colin Kaepernick. He's still out there. Colin is still out there. Somebody it could have. And the crazy thing is, the Broncos, what since basically since Peyton Manning has left, they haven't had a stable quarterback in that organization. John Elway is the GM, is a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he can't find a quarterback to run this team. I mean, even Peyton Manning was horrible. I mean, the best quarterback they had since John Elway was there was probably Tebow, hands down. Like that. Even though I know what's his name won the Super Bowl, but I mean, he really didn't win the game. He was just in there, just
Pretty much.
audible and everything. He knew exactly what to do, how to do it. He just couldn't do it. He didn't have the arm strength. But
They had Peyton year one. Year one Peyton,
Yeah.
good. After that, eh,
that's the thing. He didn't win the Super Bowl his first year.
Yeah.
nope. Seattle spanked that booty.
Um, But yeah, so from me looking at it, I think I would have probably been on my Vontae Davis. I don't know if y'all remember what he did. The Bills was getting beat, and at halftime, he's like, "I retire."
Retire.
I think I would have been out of that. I would have been like, I would have been I would have got to the hotel or woke up or whatever, and they would say, "Hey, yeah, this was going on." I'm like, yeah, I'm not making this trip. So do what you gotta do. Like I'm not about to go put my body on risk. I know that sounds horrible, because we everybody, as coaches, Jarrell and I, we always tell players it's a team sport. But when you get to the NFL, it is a team sport. But it's a business first. And if the people that supposed to have your best interests at heart, and we all know that 9 times 10 they don't, they have their pockets in mind, but they're supposed to have their best interests at heart and they're supposed to be trying to win games. That's why you have the best whatever players that's playing the game. And for you to be an organization and you don't even give your team and your organization a chance to compete, it's horrible. I'll be looking on the next flight to be out of there. I need to be traded because y'all not trying to take this football thing seriously. You not trying to win. Unless you about to cut me a Ben Roxenberger check. Yeah, I need to be out.
Dante, you
I'm
as
with you.
ownership, because you bring up Kaepernick, you're
Yeah.
4-7. Like, why bring him in at 4-7? Not already a team's gonna have to accept whatever drama, whatever fans, all that stuff comes with them. Everybody, you're gonna have to accept that. But now you already got your fans mad at you because you 4-7. We're not talking about like dang, we're doing good. Like, I need, I don't know, maybe Andy Reid could, like, say, Patrick Mahomes get hurt, and you want to bring in a Kaepernick to move around and throw the ball, try to be like Patrick a little bit. Okay, I can see that, and you could probably get the fans behind you, but at 4-7, just I don't know. I feel like at 4-7, you're asking for trouble.
I would
True.
not. I'm not saying that I disagree with you, but I would say this is that I'm just looking at it from the standpoint that you need a quarterback and you have people that can play, but you decide to put your running back at quarterback.
Does Kaepernick still want to play?
Of course he does. You know that. Everybody knows that. Now maybe after this year, maybe he doesn't. I mean, it's like shoot, I don't been
He
out the
got
league what
paid
4 years.
handsomely by Nike.
Very handsomely.
Yeah, he did. But I don't think it. I don't think that it would probably touch like what the quarterbacks are getting paid now.
But he went. Yeah. I see. I don't think he would come into just because I don't think that he would want to be a starter for 1 or 2 games. I think he would want an opportunity, and coming in at this juncture would be very hard. Would be very. But I think Fave, just to kind of to your point, um, Colin Kaepernick at that time, I think he signed like ooh, it's like $100 some million deal with Nike. I can't remember the exact numbers,
Yeah, I
but I
think
know it
that's
was like
about
a
right.
hundred some. But yeah, I mean, so I think that's why he wouldn't take any of those like startup football leagues or anything like that. He wouldn't take a deal with them because
Yeah,
it's not worth it to him. Where Dante, I think you're right. The NFL is worth it because now you're talking about you know millions of dollars and not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and then on top of that too, I think that if he had the opportunity and he came in to kind of ball, and even if it was 2 games, I think that he would because then now you have tape, and so now people can say, oh yeah, he still can play. So it gives him a little bit more leverage and opportunities to try to get on the team. But we all know ain't nobody gonna give him no chance. But I just had to bring that up because you got the Broncos that knew they had a problem at quarterback before they started the season, and they did nothing. Who did they bring in? Joe Flacco, right?
yeah. Is he the starter?
He was, and uh, so I mean, and that's my point exactly. You're if you're asking if he's the starter, that lets you know he ain't did nothing. So, but anyways, let's go to the next topic, man. Poor Broncos. That's my papa's favorite team, the Broncos, but they more like a little pony, so they need to change their name. But
Sorry, Papa.
anyways, yeah, sorry, Papa. He probably gonna watch this tomorrow. All right. So next question is: could COVID have a major effect on the NFL playoffs? What are your opinions?
Mm, mm.
Dave, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll take it. So, in short, I do believe it will have a major effect on the playoffs because for I don't know if a lot of I don't pay attention a whole bunch to the COVID and all of that stuff, so I only kind of scroll across if I'm looking at the news and stuff like that or reading the news I should say. Do I come across it? But seeing that the numbers are increasing rapidly again, so you have more opportunity, especially since they're not in a bubble, you have an increased opportunity now for your top players or just a lot of players in general getting hurt. So think of the Broncos situation now on a heightened level where you not okay, it's not quarterbacks, but you got what you gonna have running backs as your old linemen? If all your old linemen get hurt, like are you gonna go play in the playoffs if you're missing, you know, three of your old linemen? You have no backups and you just got a center and two guards. You don't have any tackles. Are you finna go out there and put your quarterback that you're paying $1 million, millions, I should not a million, but millions of dollars, are you gonna go and put your quarterback at risk with either a tackle off the street or moving a D tackle to tackle? Cause I sure as heck know that I would not put Patrick Mahomes behind the left tackle that has no experience at left tackle.
Yeah.
That's a recipe to get his knee tore up and possibly end the rest of his career, thus ending your $500 million, or not 500 million. I'm sorry, how many millions? No, was it 500 million?
Yeah, it was something ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it was 500 because it's 50 million. Yeah,
Yeah. Half a
and
bill.
ending
Yeah.
your $500 million investment. Um, so we talked about it in earlier episodes about the NFL starting the season primarily with the basis of money and all of that, and not they had a lot of time, much more time than the NFL, or I'm sorry, than the NBA, to put other plans and stuff like that in place. So to me, for them to mitigate, I don't think they'll be able to stop it, but maybe to mitigate, they really, really need to consider going to a bubble for playoffs. But then if you go, I don't, how many weeks we got left?
Uh, 4, I think.
Four, three, four, something like
Four or
that.
five, somewhere
So
around
it's
there.
right around the corner. So even if they're like, oh, okay, we're gonna go to the bubble for playoffs into a bubble, it even if they wait till then, it may be too late at that point with how numbers are increasing back up for COVID, which I'm not surprised. Who was it? A friend at work actually told me, and I don't remember what she was listening to, where she heard it from, but she's big into the conspiracy theories and stuff. But I gotta give her credit when COVID popped off and lockdowns happened and all of that. She was listening to something like I said, and she said that come the winter December time that we were gonna see another shoot up of COVID cases, and here we are seeing an increase of COVID cases. I wish I remembered where she got that information from, but yet and still this will play a huge impact because they started this because of money. Think of how much money they'll lose if they lose a lot of key players. If you just have
Yep.
dudes off the street playing in the playoffs, now there goes that like whoever wins, there goes that asterisk, because it'll be like, oh, it ain't, they didn't have this person, they didn't have that person, so of course that team won. So I think that they got to definitely look at some things and take some action, because I think it'll hurt their bottom line even if they just try to push through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go, Jarrell. Yeah, so I agree with you, Fabe. It will look like the movie The Replacements, and that would not be good. That would not be good. But I will say this: that will be good for um, FanDuel and Kings, and the people that bet on the games. That will be awesome for them. I'm sure that'll be at a a new high. But what I definitely think that it's going to affect it. I mean, because we can already see that it's affecting it now, and how what the Steelers in the Ravens game got pushed back because of COVID. So I mean, it everybody knew, but I think everybody, it's kind of almost like one of those things where you like, man, I know this is going to happen, but I'm just going to try to close my eyes and hope for the best. And that's exactly what's going on. And I kind of felt like, and that's why I was always pushing like they should just wait. They should just push it back. They should just wait. Even with the college, they should just wait. High school, they should just wait, because it was a lot of stuff that was going on that a lot of people don't know about it. And um, Dr. I believe I'm saying his name right, Dr. Fauci, he said that you know that around once it gets to the winter, it was going to spike and that stuff
Oh,
was going
okay,
to go
maybe
up.
that's where she heard it. Okay.
Um, but because of the flu and stuff like that, and then with the hospitals, and we didn't know exactly how it was going to react with the cold, even though it kind of happened in the cold, but it wasn't for that long of a period. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just a lot of uncertainty. But at the end of the day, they was trying to get to the money, and so they just disregarded everything. And that's the thing about the NFL is that at the end of the day, they say that they care about their players and the people that play for them. But when you start looking at everything, they really don't. They just trying to get to the money. Now the NBA, I can look at the NBA and say, wow, they really do care. And if they don't, man, they make it hard to see past, all the stuff that they do. But you could just look at the two leagues and you'd be like, man, one's they really they really cherish this person, and then the NFL is like the redheaded stepchild, like get out of here, Cinderella or whatever. Like they treat them, yeah. But then that goes back to what I think we talked about before was the CBA and how so they just got to figure out some things. I actually it was we were talking about it with Jimmy at training the other day about the CBA and how they didn't do a good job of negotiating. But what I think they should do is I think they should basically whatever teams make it, I do think they need to go into a bubble. But I think to kind of make it fair is to kind of push it back like 2 weeks. So give all the teams a 14-day window. Um, However, yeah, if somebody's hurt, that sucks. That goes in your favor because now you got more time to rest. But I think that's what they need to do. I think they need to put everybody that's in the playoffs in the bubble because now it's a little bit easier because now instead of having 32 teams with everybody has over 50 people on the team, now you're going to what is it, 16
So
teams, I think it
16.
is.
Yeah.
So now you got 16 teams, so now you can kind of take over a little city and get two football fields. But this is the thing, they need to start doing this now. But knowing the NFL, if they are going to do it, just by how they handled the whole COVID thing, they're going to wait to the last thinking minute if they're going to try to do it. And it's going to be the week before and like, oh, we got to do this. Boom, it's too late. But they need to start doing this now. And that's a crazy thing because this is a company or organization that makes billions of dollars, and you're telling me the people that they have working for them, they can't understand the significance of this stuff? Like, who do you got running stuff? People need to be fired. Like,
But like you say, the
jeez.
owners don't care. They are sitting in their press box or in their nice mansions with their mask on, safe. They don't like. I think he's a billionaire owner. He doesn't have to go anywhere. They don't have to. They have everybody else that they're paying to do everything for them.
That's crazy.
I get to
But
fly on my private jet across the country, probably empty. Well, I ain't worried about getting COVID.
but this is a thing too, though. You said it earlier about the left tackle putting a defensive lineman at left tackle, and you got your investment. So, but this is all investment. So, are you as that person? Are you just like my? I guess when you make that much money, I guess $100 million is nothing to you. It's a drop in the bucket, maybe. I guess, or it's a drop in the ocean. I guess so, but. All right, Jarrell, it's on you, bro. I'm done.
Hey, I mean, y'all came with it, man. Y'all came with it. Um, I'm just going to kind of jump in. I mean, obviously, the answer is yes. I think COVID can have a crazy effect. Because I don't know if everybody realizes, so I'll educate our audience. So if you test positive, you're supposed to be in isolation for 10 days. Um, and obviously, it could be 10, 14 days. But either way, if you're talking about football wise, Lamar Jackson test positive on Thursday. So that would essentially put him out 2 games if you had to play it on a strict schedule. The way that they've done it and pushed the game, I believe, for the Cowboys game, he comes back like that Monday. So if you're in an NFL season and you test positive on Saturday or you test positive for Friday, well, Lord forbid if your team makes it and wins that first game, well, now you're out that second game as well.
Mm.
Dante, I liked exactly what you said, which is a point that I was going to make is that, they need to they need to cut the season. In my opinion, you cut it at 17 weeks. Um, I like where they were going with adding an eighth team and giving nobody a bye. You add the eighth team, you give nobody a bye, but everybody gets those 2 weeks going in. But here's the caveat that I want to throw: each team needs to quarantine team wise the last 2 weeks of the season, which means because I know the Saints had talked about it, and I don't know if they're actually doing it, but they talked about like a quarantine. I believe it's for any of the players that wanted to, where they have a hotel where you can quarantine, you can do everything you need to go back and forth, da 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 da. But invite families. If you want your family to be there for those 2 weeks, they got to test negative coming in, or else they cannot come in. And you guys need to quarantine yourselves for those 2 weeks. So in a sense, you got roughly about 4 weeks worth of I would hope negative tests, but maybe a positive in the beginning. But either way, you're giving yourself that leeway that you don't have it because if I mean, I like RG3, but if you got RG3 in there for a playoff game, you know, for the Ravens, it's like, darn. For the team that's going against them, it's like, yeah. For all of the other opponents who got to face, the proper quarterback without injury, obviously injuries happen, but without injury, um, the competitive balance then is kind of thrown off. And I think
Mm-hmm.
playoffs is where I don't want to see that at. I don't mind
Agreed.
regular season. I just think when you get to the playoffs, like I want to see good versus good, barring injury. Um, I know last year everybody knows the Ravens. I think if if Ingram is healthy, Mark Ingram is healthy, I think the Ravens have a better playoff run. But the fact is, he got hurt. He wasn't the same, and the Ravens had to do things that they ordinarily wouldn't do. So all that to say, and that's an injury wise. So if you're taking, again, like what happened to the Broncos, what happened if you don't have a quarterback? Fade, like you said, what happened if both of your tackles? What happened if the majority of your D line? And now that team has to forfeit um, a game. Again, the competitive balance. So now another team gets a free bye week. So the NFL is $1 billion company. Dante, to your point, Patrick Mahomes' salary is nothing to those NFL owners. In basketball, LeBron James, for what he brings into the Lakers, is nothing compared to I believe he's making 37 million. Is nothing compared to the 37 million they're paying him. Um,
It,
it's
I've actually read that LeBron James he increases the economy of the city. I can't remember, but I remember reading that he increases the economy of the city. I just wanted to throw that out. That's you're right of what a player can do.
and that's huge. So would they protect their investment? I think to a certain extent they want to protect their investment. But come on, Dante. Like, let's really be honest. You said it's a business. I said it's a business. Fabe said it's a business, and the NFL being a business, it doesn't matter because there's no guarantee that your investment is going to even be there at the end of the day. Um, so I think that's why in football, especially, it's so hard to give out those guaranteed contracts because now you're on the hook for all of the money and not just some of the money. Um, if I was an owner, football is the one sport that I wouldn't want to give out guaranteed money to. I would love to make it if I played in the
Really?
NFL, um, but I don't. I don't think that they deserve those because it's such a contact sport. Let's talk about Clay real quick. Let's talk about Clay, right? 2 seasons, he's out, and you got to pay his salary. Let's talk about John Wall, who signed that big deal and then got injured. You paid him all that money. What could you do? I think John Wall was making like maybe like 20 something mil a year, maybe 30 some mil a year. What could you do with that 30 mil, right? Same thing with Clay. You're hurting right now and you're up against the luxury cap and you can't do anything without doubling your money. That's crazy. So even though basketball's a little bit safer, even though baseball's a little bit safer, um, I will say pitchers and football are the two people that starting pitching and football is where I would not go because pitchers nowadays are having the Tommy John surgery, which puts them out a year. And then as far as football, it's such a contact sport. Look at the injuries this year. It's every week, nonstop. Somebody's going down, and it's that big money that not that you're losing out on, but that's being wasted on that player. And now you can't even sign somebody because in the NFL they have a hard cap that you can't go over. So, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Um, but I hope COVID doesn't rear its ugly head in the playoffs, and maybe they can figure out something to the effect of what baseball did. But we need sports. Um, we got to figure out a better way to do it. I'm nervous for basketball when they come back because I don't know what that's going to look like being played at your home stadium now, um, in the midst of, like you said, Fate, it's wintertime and basketball starting right before Christmas in the heart of winter. So what is that going to look like? Because they only have, I think, 15 people. I didn't look to see if they're going to expand it, but with having 15 people and basketball the way that it is, it, you're in close contact with everybody.
And I don't see
So,
how they could. Well, I mean, the players on the bench can wear masks, but ain't nobody running up and down that court gonna be able to even wear a mask or whatever. Yeah, man,
nope.
it, it it's interesting, man. How they're gonna do things with these numbers going up. Very interesting.
All right, so let's get to it, Fabe. It's on you, man. Tell everybody about the new segment.
All right, everybody. We are now going into our segment, Deep Thought. This is where we take your questions, comments, anything that you have in chat, and we give you our deep thought. So, for those of you in chat right now, if you guys got any questions or anything, make sure you guys put them in. And I got a quick question while we wait for everybody to put something in. Are the Cowboys gonna release Zeke?
I don't think so.
Uh, I, Fabe, I honestly would have to see what his cap hit is. I didn't like the deal when they made the deal. Don't get me wrong, Zeke can be a dynamic running back. And I used to get so mad when they would say the running back position is overvalued and don't pay a running back and don't pay a running back. And now I'm sitting here today and saying, don't pay a running back. Don't pay a running back. I would pay a receiver. I would pay anybody. Don't pay a running back. And the biggest thing is like I keep looking at all these cats, every year there's a big running back coming out, but there's also guys that you don't hear about that come into the league. Um, One of the biggest, not one of the biggest, but when Nick Chubb and Sony Michelle, both from Georgia, both came out, and you look at both of them, where I thought Nick Chubb always had the higher ceiling, but I thought the skill set of Sony Michelle played really well. But you look at it, and Nick Chubb right now is outright balling, and Sony Michelle is not. But you can get a Nick Chubb later in the first round. You can get a Nick Chubb in the second round. Um, Derrick Henry's another one. Think about, come on, man. I mean, he's, I'm not saying taking the league by storm, but he's doing his darnest. So I think that if I needed to every 4 years, I could find me a running back in the draft. I could find me a guy that's a free agent to bring in, just like Leonard Fournette was this year, just like Le'Veon Bell was after he got let go. So I could find a guy and pay less money. Le'Veon Bell might be one of the only people. If Edwards Hilaire is still the same as he is now in 4 years, maybe I could see paying him, but I'm not paying you 10, 15 million a year. I can't do it. I can't do it.
So
There's just too much. There's too many other options, and I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. And
unless
that's
it's a
what the
quarterback.
Cowboys did, unless it's a quarterback, or a receiver, because receiver can dictate coverage, and people can say that about a running back. But at the end of the day, if my receiver goes down, I still have other guys that's part of that receiving core. If Zeke goes down because they didn't groom a second, they don't do running back by committee. They've done it more this year, but you take that major part of your offense, it's almost like losing your starting quarterback because now teams are going to play you differently. They're going to start dropping in coverage. It it's awful, man. So absolutely not. Or I should say, absolutely. I think that they are going to at least look at trading him or cutting him, depending on what's on the cap, um, and let him get a fresh start somewhere else. He'll go ball somewhere else. It just don't need to be for the Cowboys.
His cap hit or dead money before you go, Dante, would be 24.5 mil
Okay,
in
never mind. Just keep him.
dead money. That's next season. 24.5 million in dead money.
Just keep him. He ain't going
Dang.
nowhere. That's why you don't
I
pay a running back.
I was gonna say nah. I don't think they're gonna let him go. And
Mm.
see, I believe that you should reward the best players on the. If your center is the best player on the team, he needs to be rewarded. If it's your outside linebacker, he should be rewarded. And if it's your running back, hey, if you don't want to pay him, get rid of him. But somebody's going to pay him. Somebody's going to have to pay him. You know, and I think that, to be honest, I think that in today's NFL, if you look at the Titans, the reason why the Titans are so good is because what's the name is good, and then on top of that, they not tackling no more. So if you get a good running back in and you can, keep him healthy, which is hard, but if you can keep him healthy, you get a nice line in front of him, you're going to be able to do damage because defenses are not able to do the stuff that they were able to do in the past. So I can, like, for instance, if the Bucks don't make it, I could definitely see the Texans making it to the Super Bowl, because who wants to step in front of that? I can't just go in and just do what I used to be able to do 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and so that's why I'm like, man, if your running back's the best running back in the league and he the best person on the team, pay that man, because he'll be able to beat up on the defenses a lot better than your receiver. And then on top of that, too, it's a lot easier to get him the ball than it is to your receiver, because it's too many things going on. You got to hike the ball. Then the quarterback has to have good accuracy to get it to the receiver. Then the receiver has to catch the ball. Running back, all you got to do is turn around and give it to him and let him do work. And then on top of that, it just makes everything so much easier when you have a running game. And yeah, you can find some running backs that can come in and ball. But when you have a running back like Zeke, the Cowboys, I mean, they just suck. That's why they ain't doing nothing. You know.
But Dante, you alluded to a better way to do or answer your question. You don't pay a running back. You pay the line and you pay your quarterback. The reason why you do that, again, I never thought I'd be saying this, but your line benefits three positions: quarterback, running back, and receiver. A, it, when the Cowboys had a great line, when they had a great line, they had a run game going, they had the pass game going, and Dak Prescott as a rookie was looking fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
You start to move some of those pieces, and now your line isn't as good. The Baltimore Ravens lost Marshall Yanda, who's going to be a Hall of Fame guard last year, from last year. Their running game is nowhere near it where it needs to be. When you if you pay a line that's going to be good, I think you have a better shot because of who it benefits. Um, the Chiefs have gone through running back after running back. Kareem Hunt was a guy that I thought that they were going to pay. Well, he got himself in trouble. He's doing great for the Browns. But then last year, they had a no name and still made it to the Super Bowl. This
Mm-hmm.
year, they drafted a rookie and still look good. The running back position can be changed. Think about every guy as of recent who's gotten a major contract. Todd Gurley, is he with the Raider or with the Rams anymore? No. Zeke
Uh,
Elliott, Devonta Freeman, gone. All these guys are gone because you pay them this money, and then at the point where it becomes feasible, that production just isn't there anymore. So as again, I'm with you. If I'm a running back, get your money if you can get your money. But at the end of the day, man, I think Le'Veon Bell got his money. Did nothing last year. This year, got cut. I mean, it's so hard. One, because the Cowboys, I believe in the beginning, had a line that was built for Zeke.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that Zeke isn't good, but it was built for him. But again, when those pieces now go away, I'd pay a line, receivers, and quarterbacks. That's why I think the Chiefs are going to be in for the long haul because I think they've kept the guys that they need to keep instead of saying, "Oh, we'll just put offensive lineman in there and hopefully he works out. We got a good quarterback." That's what they did with Tom Brady, and Tom Brady left a butt. So I know Kansas City not going to do that because they want to keep Mahomes.
Do you think, noticing that trend of running backs getting paid and then falling off, is the running back position one of the how to put this? Is it one of the major positions that relies heavily on you just being extremely motivated, with running the ball? Because it makes me think of like who you got. Chris Johnson back. So two running backs for the Titans, Chris Johnson, and then you got Henry right now with the Titans. That I don't know. You can tell Henry just runs with, to me, a lot of motivation and just power on every play. You could go to Marshawn Lynch back in the day. He ran with pop every single play. He didn't care if it was 3-1 or 3rd and 10. If you put the ball in his hands, he's fighting for every single inch. Is that fight what the running backs lose when they get their money?
So yes, because I think it comes in, and again, that investment. I I truly believe that the Titans made the right decision in giving him a contract extension for the simple fact of he's built different. Like, he's built to take that contact. That's his game, that's his style, and he gets better as the game goes
Yeah.
on and as the season goes on. As guys get tired and don't want to tackle 260 pounds, you know what I mean? So I think that's, to me, that's probably the biggest thing, is that I think you're talking about that sheer will that he has over, just the money that other guys have gotten paid. And just to quickly um, jump back in, and just looking at like the money that guys have gotten, and I'm not going to include Zeke because he's not traded, but Todd Gurley got paid, not on the same team that paid him the money. Le'Veon Bell got paid, not on the same team. David Johnson got paid, not on the same team. Devontae Freeman got paid, not on the same team. Uh, Lamar Miller got paid, not on the same team. Duke Johnson got paid, not on the same team.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
That's that's a nature of that position, and it's hard. It sucks. I don't like it because I believe everybody should be able to get their money, but I, I'm not paying a running back. You're paying Ezekiel Elliott $15 million. Give me a mid-tier receiver like a Juju Smith or somebody like that can help out a Tyreek Hill, and I'll take that any day of the week over paying 15 million for him.
So what you telling me is that you don't think that Alvin Kamara is worth 15 million. You
Nope.
telling me that Christian McCaffrey is not worth 16 million. Because those are the top two highest paid running backs. And if you take them out of their system, their offense is not as good as with them being in it. Like Alvin, like he makes that offense go because he's catching the passes out of the backfield. He's running the ball as well. And so Drew Brees is great, but Drew Brees always had a good running back when he's with the Saints when they did really well. Uh, but both of those, just looking at them too, they are phenomenal running backs. But at the same time, they also help their team move forward. And I think if you take, that's where I'm like, if the running back's the best player on the team, you need to pay him. And those are arguably two, probably like the Panthers. I'm trying to think about who they have at receiver core. Nobody. He is the
But think
receiver.
about this. So Henry, I will go back to say he is the one guy that I 100% could understand paying. Uh, McCaffrey missed 6 games with a high ankle sprain, and he came back, hurt his shoulder, and has been out the last 2 games.
Oh,
So you're talking 8 games to an injury to a guy that you're paying $16 million to. And again, that's your whole running game. If I look at, okay, I hate going back to the Chiefs, but the Chiefs got Le'Veon Bell for nothing and Edwards Hilaire for nothing, right? Okay, well, if one of their 17, $20 million or $17 million, $16 million receivers go down, you got two running backs and two other receivers. McCaffrey goes down, they have absolutely nothing. If now again, if Derrick Henry goes down, you have absolutely nothing. But I would take that knowing what he brings to the table. I don't think Alvin Kamara, I don't think Christian McCaffrey, I don't think any of those guys bring what Henry's brings to the game. And I'm talking in the fourth quarter, that dude's gonna pound you. Period. Like he gets stronger. Where these guys are what I would say a better athlete than Henry is. Um, Henry is strong. He's deceptively fast. He's nimble. But I think as far as skill wise, these dudes would kill him in a skill drill any day of the week. But at the end of the day, availability is what you care about. So Henry, I would pay. These other guys, no. If I got a Henry, pay him. I got you. Everybody else, no.
So that includes you'd pay a Marshawn Lynch.
I would pay a Marshawn Lynch any day because that man plays with heart. It's not all about just skill level. It's about a sheer want to. It's not I'm a better athlete than you. It's I'm gonna go get it. It's the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics had sheer will. It's the Detroit Pistons had sheer will. Um,
You can't coach it. Yeah, you're right. You
yes,
can't coach
all
that.
those intangibles that yes, you can't coach Derrick Henry at the end of a game when everybody's dead dog tired and he's like, "Hey, listen, I pull trucks for a living, bruh. I go out my backyard and that's what I do. Pull trucks up a hill. Oh, you think that you 300 pounds and you can mess with me? Nah, bro, I'm like 260 coming at you. He don't that you cannot coach. The other guys, that's finesse. I don't want finesse. And Dante, lastly, Alvin Kamara was a second wheel to Mark Ingram. And then he kind of grew, which I'm not saying he's not a good back, but he wasn't a feature back. I still wouldn't pay you feature back money. At least I can say Zeke has been the feature back, and I still wouldn't give him the money. Nah, bruh. I will go find me another quick, fast, little scat back, or I'll find me 1 pound it, and or what was it? Reggie Bush and
Marking
what
or
was the old dude named White? No,
Oh,
at
oh
USC. At USC.
yeah,
yeah, yeah, White. Laird.
I can't
Um,
remember the name.
yeah, it was some White, and then the Giants had it, what they called Thunder and Lightning, where it was Tiki Barber,
Tiki.
Lightning, and I can't remember.
Jacob
Ron Dent.
Brandon
Oh,
Jacobs.
Brandon
Ro-
Jacobs. Yeah, Brandon
Yeah,
Jacobs.
so I could go that route and get the same effect and pay them less money than what I'm paying you.
I would
That's
rather
all
do
I'm
that.
saying.
I agree.
I
And
I love the
yeah,
Lin,
running back guys. I
Lindell
love the running
Lindell
back.
Wright.
Lindell White.
Lindell
Yeah,
Wright.
Lindell White. I would take that over paying. That again, I love running backs. I love what they do. I used to love watching Zeke. But dude, the Cowboys can't do nothing right now.
yeah. You know what? I agree. Give me a good line, good quarterback, two decent running backs. Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah,
Good
I agree.
quarterback.
A
Good
good
quarterback.
quarterback. I'm happy. I would say great, good verge on great line. You have that. I mean, you dang near do anything you want, really. At that
Yep.
point. All right, guys. So we'll call it right there. Do you guys have any final words before we end the show today?
Please like and subscribe and share.
Well, I just want to say I appreciate, again, anybody that listened and watched us live. Um, we're going to be coming to y'all again next week, live from the same spots, doing the same show. change the topics. We gonna keep it fresh. We gonna keep it hot. We gonna keep it great, fellas. I appreciate y'all tonight. Fabe, take us on out, man.
Hey, also, I challenge Jarrell Oklahoma drill. Let's go. Let's go, coach.
You
Let's
need some
go, coach.
tissue? You need some tissue?
You gonna need it.
Wow. All right,
Hey,
everybody.
listen. Go ahead.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Deep Third Sports Podcast. Make sure you guys hit that like, follow, and turn on that bell so you guys get notified next week when we go live. We will catch you all later. Peace. And yes, LeBron is still